one thing I have to say. Tom Holland, I guess you need your ass ate. I don't know what to say. So hey, hello. We're here in this space in very high spirits. I didn't realize how high of spirits we were in until I started talking just fucking now. Anyways, so I recorded the last video, the one from last week, I think maybe 2 days ago. So I'm still like, hey, what's up, y'all? Like, I feel like I'm still in that mindset. But anyways, watched Spider-Man twice, watched The Odyssey 3 times, I've seen Minions and Monsters, which, mind you, best movie out of both of them. Okay, chill. Okay, I loved Spider-Man. Watching him almost kill himself, crazy as hell. I was like, they in the big ones, Zendaya, need the Oscar yesterday, bro. For them also in the Odyssey, yeah. Where's the Oscar campaign? I had so much fun. And then because my birthday is coming up, turning the big 2-2. My friend gave me my birthday present, and bitch, it's a couch bag. I'm gonna scream, gonna cry. Already packed her, even though she's gonna get immediately unpacked because I have an insert. But I just wanted to feel like, like the bag. She is here. She is queer, and it's here to stay. I don't know, but yes, she's so soft. She is perfect. I'm gagged every day. Love it. So, yes, had so much fun at my movie marathon, watching Spider-Man, Odyssey, and Minion. Had some Firehouse subs. Firehouse subs, they also need their ass ate with their Cajun chicken and their chicken and cheddar ranch, bacon ranch. Crispy, perfect. Firehouse needs their ass ate for real. Yeah. I remember last episode said I was going to talk about, we're going to continue the ultimate humiliation ritual, and we will. I feel I'm maybe a little too high of spirits right now for this, though. Because fuck. That's humiliation ritual, that's a real one. That's a real one. It's happened in June. Okay, I guess we'll get into it. This is June 1st. This happens during Pride Month. Yeah, I should fucking shoot myself. But I had this habit. Wait, I have to talk about this. It's so funny. I had this habit when I was I was a freshman, and mind you, okay, this has to talk about my developmental growth. Let me set everything aside. Hold on. I had to move that. This talks about my developmental growth. Anyways, when I was a freshman, respectfully, someone needed to beat the shit out of me. To say I was very boy crazy is low-key kind of an understatement. Freshman year, which is, mind you, crazy as shit. Like, who was I feeling like? I was like, you know what? New school, new me. Like, no, mama, no. But I was like, being like, crush on him. I want to talk about dudes, yada yada. Very crazy, like, pick me ass behavior. I'm not gonna lie to you. Very, very pick me. Like, I was on a boys wrestling team. I was like, I'm not like other girls. And mind you, this makes me sick to my fucking stomach now. Because I could have, there's nothing now in this world that I want less than is to relate to a man. No. So, I was very pick me behavior, and I don't know if y'all remember, like, this is like right before COVID, like 2019, this fucking app, it's like Hope, and it was like, it was basically like Snapchat Tinder. I don't know why that shit was popping puss, but I remember I had it, and I you know, like, you posted pictures of yourself. It was like, yeah, basically fucking Tinder. But I did use that fucking app to add a bunch of random ass fucking men, had them all say, oh my god, like, what you look like, and I was in a picture. They'd be like, OMG, you're so beautiful. And they're like, what about me? Some chop shit, bro. And I would be like, ooh, block my snap right now, lose this shit right now. Like, but I literally would deadass only use it for, like, compliments, and I was like, yeah, I know, boop, blocked. It's actually so funny. It was not just Hoop. It was like this other one. It was like a blue, like, smiley face ad. There was another one like that. Like, bitch, I had two. Like, this was basically like if I had downloaded Tinder and, like, Bumble. Like, the fuck. But I remember on there, at the time in, like, 2019, I was watching the show Gotham. It's about Detective Jim Gordon. It, like, follows his story, but it's, like, Batman is, like, young. Like, the story starts with, like, Bruce being 12, but then, like, at the end of season 5, because there's only 5 seasons, he's, like, 18. So, I remember, and I was, like, 14 at the fucking time? So, I, was like, what show is this, yada yada, like, who that Batman, because I was like, ooh, he hashtag fine shit in that last season, he hashtag is not, or he wasn't, because I, like, looked back on it and I was like, ooh, like, ooh, girl. But again, I was like 14, who fucking cares? But then, I remember I knew exactly who the fuck the actor was. So, I remember one time I was on one of those fucking apps, and I got, like, like, oh, here's somebody who liked your profile. It was someone deadass using photos of that actor, bro. I was like, oh my god, I know who that is. I was like, I know that's fucking Bruce Wayne. You is not Bruce Wayne. Like, shit makes me laugh my ass off now that I think about it. I was like, ooh, first catfisher. The first ever catfisher. But, no, I just remember one time, there was, like, this one guy who literally, talked to me, but mind you, here's the worst part, I was, like, 15, bitch, like, 14, freshly 15, this motherfucker was, like, damn near 18, but I was, like, talking to him, and he was like, OMG, you're so beautiful, and because he was like, what do you like, and I was like, Marvel, boom, 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 because I was, like, a fucking obsessed with Marvel at the time, and, I was like, Marvel, I like, yada, yada, whatever, and he was like, OMG, my Marvel princess, and shit like that. He was like, OMG, you're so beautiful, like, ooh, doing a lot. I remember at the time I told that shit to my friend, and I was like, yeah, and they said, ooh, that's looking kind of really weird, and I said, what? I was like, what are you talking about? And they was like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but they're like, hey, that's just us, like, but if you want, whatever. And I remember that same day, like, that motherfucker sent me something, and I immediately blocked him, like, just immediately blocked him, was, like, hyperventilating in the fucking TJ Maxx bathroom. And then I remember I did the thing where it's like, I just unadded him. I didn't block him, but I did the thing where it's like, you block the person, but then you go into your blocked, and then you unblock them. So all I did was just unfollow both of you guys and, like, delete your chat. So I remember I did that, and then, like, maybe, like, 15 minutes later, like, he like, requests to, like, be friends again on Snap, and I deleted that shit. Get the fuck out my face. I was like, ooh, delete that, delete. Yeah, that was crazy as hell. And it's so funny because that kind of leads into what happened in June. I kind of did the same shit. Whoops. So, like, y'all, it's a pattern. But I remember I was just, like, bored as shit. I was at work, too. I was bored as shit at work. And I was like, dang. I was like, I remember when I was, like, fishing for compliments. I was like, dang, I remember when I was wishing for compliments, but I was like, but I fucking hate men now, I do, and I was like, so, I'm not gonna date any of them, so, I'm gonna use them just so they can say, OMG, you're so hot, you're so beautiful, and I'd be like, block, ignore, swipe right, wait, I think swipe left, what is it? Bitch, I don't fucking know. I never used it. Because I was on Hinge. Okay, so we used Hinge. Because I was like, fuck it, I'll fuck around. I was like, I'll make a profile, fuck around, and then be on my merry way. That's not how that worked. That's not how that went. Okay. So I made my profile, just so stupid shit. And then there was prompts. I literally never ever showed this account because I had it for a week and then immediately deleted it after the week. So I never did ever end up showing fucking Adeline my profile. Because at the end of the day, I was also very ashamed I was doing this. I was extremely embarrassed. But, did I put on my pics? Yes, I did. Mama, I wanted compliments. So, fishing for that shit. But, there was, like, prompts. And I was, like, at first I bullshitted on some of them. And I was, like, do not talk to me if you don't like Monkey D. Luffy. Do not talk to me. Like, my first love, One Piece. Like, I was just saying some dumb shit. And then I was like, I guess I'll change it. I was like, I guess I'll answer honestly, but still make it stupid. So it's like, it's like, my first date would be like, if we go, like, I don't want to say taking it seriously, but it was like, to an extent, I guess you have to say it was serious. But, okay. This is what I did for the joke one. I said, you should not go out with me if you hate Monkey D. Luffy. You'll never know it, but I love Monkey D. Luffy. I go crazy for Monkey D. Luffy. And I remember the app was like, you should probably fucking change those. And I was like, I guess I will. So then I used pictures of myself, of course. And then I remember the questions, because some of the fucking shit that I got were so fucking stupid. So stupid. But what was it? It was the first question was what, actually I don't even know the fucking first question. It was it was some shit like around the lines like, I like what I go crazy for, or it's like, you don't know it but I love. It's like, oh, you would never know it, but I love, yada, yada. And it's like, you're supposed to put one thing. But I remember I put, well, let's do this like an itinerary, because I love so many things. One thing about me, I love the movies, I love books, I love physical media, aka DVDs, CDs, vinyls. I love music, TV, a fun drink, coffee, going shopping. Like, mama, I love everything. So I was like, the things that I love, let's do an itinerary, if you would. And I put, get coffee or get a drink, go to a bookstore, go to a record shop, get sushi, go home, call it a day. See a movie, I think I said that. And then the second one was, what's the soundtrack of your life? And I was going to put, like, a song. I was going to put something stupid. But then I was like, I was like, this is perfect. My best friend has made me plenty. Well, now she's made me plenty because I asked for 2 more. But at the time, she only made me 1 CD. And I was like, my best friend made me a CD. So the common denominators of that plus whatever the fuck else. So I was like, well, since my friend made me a mixtape, what she would say is, I put Megan the Strokes, Michael Jackson, and then anime openings. And then I put the end, do not talk to me if you hate Monkey D. Luffy. Yeah, and then I made that on a Wednesday night. Yeah, it was Wednesday night, because I was at work when I got the app, and I was fucking around. And then Wednesday night, like, maybe 2 a.m., I hit upload, make account public, and then I remember because, like, 4 minutes later, I already had one, like, I know I was fucking right, I'm kidding. But I was like, that was kind of quick. Chop shit, but I was like, that's kind of quick. And then I was like, whatever. And I went to sleep, I went to sleep only having, like, I had 3 by the time I went to sleep. I was like, okay, I'll go to sleep. I wake up and I have 76. OMG, 76. And one of them has our main victim of the story. He wasn't one of those. And mind you, it was a lot of men. Like hella men, even though I put, a lot of straight white men. Not a lot of white, but there was some straight white men. There was a good handful of straight white men on my profile that literally says pansexual, like brown, like, ooh, ooh, whatever. But there was a lot of men, and I was like, oh, a lot of men who wanted kids. Oh. But, not a lot of women. It's a little hurtful. I still had no women yet, and I was like, oh. I remember that day I was taking a walk in the morning, because normally in the morning I'll go to the gym, but I was just, like, not feeling the gym that week. So that week, I mostly just walked outside. But I remember at the time, when I go walk outside, I only take my Apple Watch and then my headphones, and I listen to music via my Apple Watch, because I hate having my phone on my body at any point if I'm, like, walking or running, because I feel like it weighs me down, and, like, it hits me constantly. I'm like, no. So I leave that shit in my car. So, every notification I get, it still pops up on my watch. So I'm bzz. I was like, okay, it's still going off. That's kind of crazy. I was like, that's insane. But then, here's the thing about Hinge. It says, oh, you can only look at one match at a time. What? I said, unless you pay money. What? I don't want to fucking pay money. But I was like, and then mind you, that's payments per week. It's like, okay, pay $20 a week, or pay $56 a month, or pay $300 a year. What? I was like, ooh, y'all evil as shit. I was like, y'all mad fucking evil. But I was like, dang, like, I just want to see through all these. I was like, I want to see what people have said. Because, there's, like, some of them that have text, or some of them that just like the push, but some of them respond to it. I was like, bitch, I need to see all of them. I'm nosy as shit. So then I gave them $20. I said, $20. You can have it this week. That's it. And then I went and immediately canceled that subscription. So I still had it for the week, but I was not going to pay anymore. And then I ended up having the app a week anyways, before I deleted my account. But I remember I had it, and the first person that popped up, like, because it has, like, the main person at top, and then it has, like, the rest of the matches at the bottom. The main person on top was our victim. I was like, okay. Ugly, he was shopped. I will say he was shopped. And I knew he was shopped. But I was like, he's, like, the least chopped out of everybody else here. I was like, so, and plus he had an anime tattoo, and I was like, ooh, I love that anime. I said, I love that anime. And then also he gave a text response, because a lot of them were like, oh, like this picture, they like this picture. Or some of them were just like, I love Monkey D. Luffy, I love Luffy, or OMG, what do you think of the Stroke songs? I don't give a shit. I was like, dang, where the compliments at? I was like, where they at? Then this motherfucker was the only one who gave a compliment. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll entertain. And he said, because I have it here, y'all. Oh, I have the saved. I thought I was gonna have to go verbatim, be like, oh, I don't really remember what he said, but I remember per se what it was. No, mama, I found a screenshot. It's because I hid it like a month ago, because it was embarrassing to even have this. But I found it. I'm gonna be embarrassed reading this. Okay, but he actually said something, and the first line that he said is, "You're gorgeous," with the face, like, melting emoji. And he said, "I'd love to get to know you. What type of food should we eat for our first date?" Mind you, I didn't process any of that other than the fact that he said you're gorgeous, and I was like, I know that's fucking right. And then, he, said that other part, and the only thing that came across in my mind was, are you stupid as shit? I literally put on my profile what I love to eat, which was sushi. So, that's, like, the only thing that came on. Not the fact that this guy was like, where should we go for a first date? I'd love to get to know you. And I'm just like, is this bitch stupid or what? So I was like, yeah, bitch, I know I'm fucking gorgeous. So then I I think, because I got that at, like, 7 in the morning, and I didn't respond to him until, like, 1 p.m. It was, like, 2 p.m. But, I remember it was him, and then this other person who was like, oh, well, anime openings are your thing, and I'm like, One Piece, JoJo, Attack on Titan, JJK, like, I don't give a fuck. But, so I remember this, I responded to this one other guy, but then I forgot that he was a straight white man, so all his answers were giving straight white man, so I was like, dang, this is the most boring conversation I've ever had in my entire life. Why am I indulging in this? And I was like, dang, well, I have to also clock in, so I'm done dealing with this. This is with this other guy, I do not remember his name, but he only has, like, an hour of relevance. And then, this motherfucker, I remember what I responded to his eventually was, I said, oh, so someone clearly can't fucking read. So someone clearly can't fucking read. I was like, it clearly says right there that I like sushi. I was like, but enough about that. What's up with that tattoo? Let me hear the story about that. Let me hear about that anime tattoo, because that's what I care about. And then, you know, that's what I said. And I, you know, I sent it, and then 2 hours later, like, mind you, as I'm literally pulling up into my job, he responds. And then he was like, I'm gonna have to verbatim this one, because I don't have any screenshots from this. And then he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, your aura was so huge that it literally, like, blinded me from anything else, and I didn't even think, I'm so sorry. And then the bottom text was, he said, oh yeah, I got it on he goes, like, I got it on a trip to Japan. I'm being so, like, descriptive of what's happening, like, if this motherfucker ever found this, like, he would know. But, it was like, oh, I got it on a trip, yada yada, yada yada, and, like, my teacher didn't know. And I said, and then what I said, I was like, damn, it's okay, bro. It's okay, I understand that my aura is so fucking huge. I said, I get it. And I was like, I guess I'll let that shit slide. Whatever. And then I also put, I said, damn, that's lucky as hell. Like, that's so cool that you got it. Like, what trip was that? And the motherfucker was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, thank you, my liege, for forgiving me. And then he was like, oh, yeah, no, he said, yeah, you know, it was, like, crazy. He was like, I got so lucky you got, like, it was a day of appointment, too. And he was like, he was like, yeah, he's like, but I'll save the full story for when we meet in person. What? The fuck does that mean? So I was like, what the hell does that mean? And I said, my liege. I was like, goofy. And then I was like, that gives the gesture, like, dancing gif with, like, the queen, like, slouched on the thing. I was like, that's what that gives. And I was like, I was gonna send that, but you can't send photos and messages. And I was like, man, I can't send that shit on here because you can't send photos. I was like, that's bummer. I said, hashtag bummer. And he was like, oh, well, you can send it to me on Instagram or phone number. I was like, oh, okay, motherfucker's a little direct. What the hell is that about? I was like, huh? I was like, oh, this motherfucker's a little too direct for me. And then I said, haha, so funny. I said, dang, that's funny, huh? Asking for my Instagram, that's bonkers, bro. And I was like, I mean, are you gonna go in, like, every single story of mine and then comment, damn, funniest bitch on earth on my latest post, which was, mind you, like, over a half a year old. And he was like, absolutely, yes, ma'am. So then I put easy as fuck. I put LMFAO, easy as hell. And then I gave it to him anyways. I gave it to him anyways, what about it? And then I was like, okay. I was like, well, if he's not gonna fucking tell me the fucking tattoo story, I was like, do you like any other animes? And then I was like, and then he said, yeah, I like JoJo and Attack on Titan. Oh, so I was like, oh, great. I said, OMG, I love those two. I said, I fucking love JoJo's, because I do. And then I was like, OMG. I was like, I was like, I love Attack on Titan to the point where literally in 7th grade, I had to do like, oh, what was the best thing you did that summer? And in 7th grade, the summer before 7th grade, is when Attack on Titan like season 2 came out. So I watched all Attack on Titan season 2, and then they were like, we have to talk about your summer. So I went up there and I was like, so in this show called Attack on Titan, and I proceeded to spoil the entire fucking show. Just up there, no prompt given, not give a fuck. It's a very true story. So I told him that story, and he put, you're actually so fucking hilarious. And I said something else. I don't even fucking remember what he said. But I remember he was just like, you're the funniest person ever. Motherfucker, I know. Thank you. I know. So then, he fucking added me on Instagram, and then conversations moved to Instagram. Yeah. And then I sent that photo, and he put, OMG, literally us. OMG, literally kill yourself. And then, what else happened? I don't fucking remember. He, like, Loki stopped answering soon after that, and it turns out he has a bedtime of fucking 10 p.m. Or it was more like 9:30 p.m. He has a bedtime of 9:30 p.m. And mind you, my bedtime is 3:30 in the morning. So I was like, oh. So my free time, fuck no, I guess. So then that happened. This was all Thursday. Whatever, he went to sleep. The very next day, I was gonna go see Masters of the Universe with my brother. So whenever that movie came out, it's like June 4th or some shit like that, June 3rd. But I remember, I woke up the next morning and I had to go to the tire shop because my mom needed a new tire. So I was sitting there, and this motherfucker started texting me back. I don't remember what the hell I was texting him about. Anyways, but I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I'm at work. He's like, good morning, I'm at work. And I was like, what the hell do you do for work? And he explained it, but it was like some stupid shit. And I was like, okay. I was like, cool. And I said, well, anyways, I'm at the fucking auto shop getting a new tire for my mom. And I was like, and I tried reading George Orwell's 1984. But I think it was the second paragraph, and I read the word chin, because it was like, oh, he tucks his chin down because it's, like, cold. But I read the word chin as chud, so I put the book down. And I was on a phone call with my friend anyways, so I was like, okay, I'm on a phone call with my friend. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'll just talk to her. But then I texted him. I was like, yeah, I was reading this book. Because I was like, I'm reading George Orwell, 1984. And he was like, what is that? What is that? And I explained the book to him. And he was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And I said, I wouldn't know. I gave up because I read a word wrong. And then he didn't answer me for a good hot ass fucking minute, because that conversation was at like 11 in the morning, and then he responded at like 7. So but I remember I said that, and then that same day I went to go see Master of the Universe with my brother. And then literally I'm in the movie theater feeling like a chud, because this is a chud convention there. And then he texted me, and he said something around the lines of, OMG, you're actually so hilarious. We've already established that. Well, he said, we should totally, oh, the fuck, I have the screenshot. I have to go find it, damn it. You're actually hilarious. Wanna go out sometime, chud low curly. Yeah. So, I see that shit and I go, oh. And mind you, I'm in the middle of the movie, so I'm like, oh. I was like, what is that? I was like, what is that? I was like, how do I? And I was like, dang, how do I joke myself out of this situation? Because I don't want to do that. I was like, ooh, how can I shift this conversation to not respond to that message? I was like, uh-oh. So then I started freaking out. And then I found a photo that said, I don't know how to flirt. I low-key called this woman a chud. And I sent that to him, and I said, that's you. And that's all I said. And then I proceeded to go to sleep. And then I had a horrific nightmare that for some reason his mom had me on Instagram and said, stop messing with my son. Like, you're like stringing my son along. Like, if you're gonna go out with him, just go out with him. And shit like that. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I woke up being like, what the fuck? And, no, it was not at all true. That never happened. So I was like, ooh, that's kind of crazy though. I said, I'm scared. I was like, oh, I'm scared. But then, didn't get a response that morning. He didn't wake up to respond to me because, mind you, I woke up around noon. And, that motherfucker wakes up around 5. So I was like, no response still. Ooh, he actively ignoring me. That's funny. I said, dang, that's funny. And I remember the night before, I had a conversation with my friend Sully, and I just unloaded this entire thing on him. I was like, I think I done fucked up. I was like, oopsies, what did I do? I was like, hey, and you're thinking, oh, why didn't you tell Adeline? So telling her felt real. I was like, oh, what the fuck am I doing right now? I was like, wait, why am I actively low key flirting with a man right now? I was like, oh, what? I was like, oh no. I was like, if I don't tell Adeline, it's not true. It ain't true. It's not true. And I remember when I told her, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just fucking around. I made a Hinge profile because it's funny. She was like, oh. She was like, okay. And I was like, but I'm not taking it seriously. She's like, sure. So I don't want to say she was judging me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I was not being judged. But internally, I was ashamed of having it, because I was like, ooh, what if something does end up happening because I have this app? But I was like, ooh, also no. I was like, it's not like that. So then I was like, I kind of felt guilty. So I was like, ooh, and I was like, I don't want to tell her that I'm low-key freaking out. So I ended up telling Sully, because I was like, I feel like he just gets it, because I was like, he's on those apps, because I knew he had a Tinder, and I knew he has other shit. So I was like, okay, I'm more comfortable telling him, because I'm like, he gets it, he gets it more. And then he was like, so do you like this guy? And I said, no, I don't. And he was like, Mama, it sounds like you do. And I was like, what's that about? But then Saturday, I wake up and my mom's like, oh, come with me, we're gonna go buy some plants for this garden, yada yada. I was like, okay, I'll come with you. So I'm at the store hanging out with my mom. This motherfucker starts texting me. Oh no. And of course I respond, and he just responded with the to him asking me out and then me switching the conversation. He responded with a head down emoji, fuck emoji. And then he said, how was your day, not chud person, low continually? And I said, you just gave me a goddamn stroke reading that, what the fuck? And then he was like, my bad. But I was like, ew, it's fine, just hanging out with my mom. And he was like, how was the movie? And I was like, I love the movies. Maybe I shouldn't say that to a guy I'm actively trying to dodge going on a date with, but I was like, I love the movies. And then he was like, OMG, I love the movies too. He was like, I love the movies too. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I love popcorn, I love soda. And he's like, what soda did you get? And I was like, OMG, I got cherry Pepsi. I love cherry Pepsi. And then he was like, okay, cherry Pepsi's so good, yada yada, what the fuck. Yeah, it was a lot of that, back and forth. And then I was like, what's your top 3? And mind you, we were talking about movies, because he was like, oh, I have a letterbox and shit like that. And I was like, I have one, but I don't really use it. Not anymore. I be using that shit like crazy style. But I was like, yeah, I have one, but I don't really use it. And he was like, oh yeah, I have mine. And then I was like, oh, I have ticket stubs. And then we were just talking back and forth. And then eventually we were talking about soda, because he was like, oh, I get he was like, oh, I get that healthy shit, zero sugar soda. Ew. But then I was like, okay. And I was like, what's your top 3 sodas? And he said, my top 3? He's like, well, I would say Back to the Future. Yeah, this motherfucker was talking about his movies. And I was like, no, bro. I was like, sodas. And he said, oh. And they said a bunch of, goofy ass shit sodas. And then, eventually we started talking about movie theaters. Because I was like, oh, yeah, I'm so mad that the AMC around me doesn't give me my ticket stubs. But the other theater does. And it's has the reclining chairs. I was like, it's so good. I love that movie theater. And then he was like, OMG, you should go to, he's like, no, the best one is this movie theater. And it's one that he goes to. And I said, man, what fucking theater is that? I was like, I don't know that shit. That shit's like 3 hours away. That's so lame. And then I was like, he was like, I think this one's better. He's like, but I think we should compare in person. And then I was like, oh, because I was like, oh man, what the hell is that? I was like, no, this one's better. And I was talking about the one that I go to. And then he was like, yeah, I think we should compare in person. And then I was like, damn, you want to take a fucking long ass drive? That couldn't be me, fucking loser, weirdo. I was like, hell no, I would never drive 3 hours. Ew, what the fuck? I was like, ew, hell no. And he was like, I've driven longer. He's like, I would. And I said, couldn't be me. And he was like, it's okay. You can just like be passenger princess and just sit there and look pretty like you always do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bro's bringing in the fucking buttering up compliments. Wow. Almost got my ass. That ass almost got my ass. And then, I said, yo, Joe. I was like, Joe, what the fuck is he talking about? So I was like, yo, chill out. Holy shit. If there's an awkward gap right there, my bad. Emergency happened. Sorry. I'm back though. Hey. Let's continue where we left off. Where did I leave off? Oh yeah. He was like, you can be passenger princess and shit like that and sit there and look pretty like always. Whoa, but chill. I was like, y'all chill. I was like, get off my dick, bro. And I put, I sent the one, the shit was like, oh, shake your dress. Oh, just like, ladies. I sent that video and I was like, yup. And he was like, shake your dreads. But then that same day I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna go watch Obsession, like, peace. And then I was like, do you want my review after? And he was like, of course. And then I got out and I said, have you seen it yet? And he was like, no, not yet. And I was like, well, damn, I can't give you shit unless you've seen it, bro. I was like, too bad. I'm sorry. Can't give you shit. And then, like, the very next day, I think I was, like, talking to him again. And then he was like, what'd he say? He was, like, talking about movies and shit like that. And I was like, dang. I was like, he was like, he said he hasn't watched it yet or some shit like that, but I don't remember how he got to it. And he was like, oh, did you know that actor in the Obsession that he's gay? And he spelled it gay with J. He spelled, sorry, not J. G-A-E. He put gay like that. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, no, because I don't know who the hell that is. I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Like, I just went in there blind. I was like, I only know the actors if I go in there. Like, I only know the actors if I go in there for the actors, you know? It's like I only saw the drama because of Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. And I was like, I love that movie. I was like, I love the drama. And he was like, oh, I haven't finished it. Like, I didn't finish it. And I was like, you didn't finish the fucking drama. I was like, that's the best fucking movie there is. I was like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? And he said, let's go see it. And I said, it's not in theaters. It's not in theaters. Too late. Sorry. Whoops. Too fucking bad. Too bad. You know, just dodging shit left and right. And then, like, the conversation got really boring after that. And then eventually he was like, I said something, and then, you know, like, I was left undelivered. Mind you, I said something, I was left undelivered for, like, 7 hours. However, that motherfucker posted reels on his story. In between that time, that motherfucker was posting reels on his story. I was like, oh, I see how it is. I was like, ooh, immediately, you're done. I said, you're done. I'm not dealing with that. So then I proceeded to ghost him. And mind you, in ghosting him, like, I think the very next day, I ghosted him on my brother's birthday. So, like, I didn't answer his shit, and then I posted on my story. I was like, oh, you can play that game, bitch. And then ignored him for a few more days. And then I remember I posted myself on my story, and I was like, yeah, looking good and shit. I was like, boom, posted that shit. That motherfucker slid up on my story, and he put, yes, YESSS. what do you want me to do with that? So I proceeded to leave it on red. I proceeded to ignore it. And that is actually the last conversation I ever had with that motherfucker. Because I was like, what the hell? You don't piss me the fuck off. So then I was like, Nora blocked. Like, he wasn't liking my post that I posted, because I posted after that because I went to the Strokes. They don't like that shit. And I was like, ooh, hater, fucking loser. And then, you know, like, I was on my feed, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna get rid of him. I was like, I don't care. I don't care enough. So I was on my fucking feed, and, you know, on my reels, and I started getting some fucking straight shit. Some straight BS, right? Why am I getting Gojo X Shoko fan art on my shit? Hello? Liked by him? Hello? No. Blocked. Immediately went on that shit and blocked that motherfucker. I said, this don't piss me the fuck off. Blocked the motherfucker, went on the app, Hinge, deleted my account, deleted the app. I said, fuck this shit, fuck this bitch. Hell no. And mind you, to his side, on his side of the story, it would be like, yeah, I tried asking this girl out 3 times. She proceeded to ask me maybe 20 times if I thought she was funny and if I thought she was the baddest bitch. And then she just blocked me. I'm telling you, I sound evil as shit in this story on anybody else's POV. That shit makes me laugh my ass off. Every time I think about this fucking story. Embarrassing as shit, low key, like, ooh. And I remember fucking Adeline at the time found his profile, and she said, son, I'm crying, what is this? Sends me his profile. And I said, delete that shit, please. I said, please, block that shit, delete it, don't ever look at that shit. And she said, oh no, I already went on that shit. She literally said, there's one thing to not know your angles, there's another thing to just be butt fucking ugly. That had me crying. Unfortunately, that did have me laughing my ass off. That was kind of funny. Yeah, that was kind of funny. Crazy ass shit, though. That still, that story still makes me laugh my ass off. That was a funny week of events. And did that make me spiral? That made me spiral for like a month afterwards, because, you know, for like the next month, I would tell that story to people. I would tell, like, you know, my friend who I really wasn't telling, or I'll tell just like, I told my brother that story because I was like, it's fucking funny, because I told my friend, my like long distance friend, I told her, and I'm telling people the story, and I'm talking to Leslie, and she just goes, so that's like the gayest thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, girl, what? And she goes, that's the most lesbian shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Because at one point, I told her, because mind you, on that app, I never once swiped on a girl, never once swiped on a man, never once swiped anywhere, never sent no like, never sent nothing. Like, even the app was like, please, you've had this for like a week, why have you not sent any likes yet? Like, what is going on? Like, please tell us who you like and who you do not like. Answering that shit, no, I was not doing anything. I was just swiping no on every profile, because I was just like, I'm bored of shit. I was like, let me just see what's on this app. And then I see some of the finest fucking women ever. I'm like, oh, and then like shit, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this is gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous woman. And then I proceed to hit no every single time, because mind you, I'm there to fucking fuck around. Like, this is a game to me. Like, I went on that app to use men and call it a day. I can't be leading women into this. I can't be pulling women into the folds, into my demonic acts. So I was like, nah. I was like, nah, swipe. And I would tell people, and I would literally tell them, I was like, yeah, no, saw this, because I remember I explained this one woman I saw in great fucking detail. I was like, gorgeous woman, like her hair, her eyes, or her she fucking did, like the outfit she was wearing, like, I'm like, boom. And then people are like, damn, you spent a lot of time in detail on that one single woman than you did the entire other time you're talking about this other fucking man. I was like, oh. So, a lot of them told me, they were like, you're lesbian. So then I was like, am I lesbian? But then I'm just like, no, like, I know deep down, if there's, like, one good man out there, and he tried to hit my line, it would fucking work. So I know, deep down in my soul, there could be a man in this equation. But here's my thing, I never dated anyone, so, who knows? Who knows? I never dated a man, never dated a woman, who knows? This is all up into interpretation, until I physically do it. Until I physically do the act of going on a date with a man and a woman. And I'm gonna be like, oh, this is why I fucking hate men. And I'll be like, this is why women are the best. I already know that's gonna happen. I just need it to actually happen. And it's not happening anytime soon because I'd rather fucking kill myself. Yeah, and that was my ultimate humiliation ritual part 2. I just had to share that one. That was like my biggest, humiliation. Because I feel like in the story, there was at least one participant who actually liked the other person the entire time. And that was him. So it's like, oh, and actually these stories, the person did actually like me back. So I'm like, oh, that's why this one hits a little different. That's why I'm like, oh, still horrific outcome. Yeah, I hope that motherfucker, whenever he thinks of me, he, is just fucking pissed. Oh, I hope whenever he thinks of me, he, wishes I were dead. I hope that he's out there just wishing the worst on me. I hope he's out there being like, oh, this bitch. Ooh, I hope she dies. Ooh, I hope the worst happens to her. I hope he's doing that shit. Ooh, I hope he's so fucking bitter and pissed. But that's all I'm gonna do, talk about today. Thank you so much for listening to me rant about this shit while in very good high spirits. It has worn off. So we're just in normal spirits now. Yes. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about this random BS. And, I'll see you in the next one, and maybe we'll actually talk about a book or a movie better. Okay, peace. Bye.